Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all sorts of fun crafty stuff, mostly knitting and cross stitch. Today's episode is another in my yarn collection and destash video. I've filmed this intro I don't even know how many times. I've been having a day with recording, so we'll keep this short and sweet and hope it works this time. But today we will be going through, I'm looking back here so I can find where to point, that shelf. That is mostly single fingering weight skeins. There are a couple like sweater quantities and stuff there too. So it should be a fun one, a whole big collection of all sorts of different things. And then after I record this video, I have one more left in the destash, which will be all of my Felici self-striping yarn, and then I'm done. And then I am ready to sell said destash yarn. So keep an eye out for that. That should be up in the next couple weeks. I just gotta figure out some logistics and then we're getting ready to seam yarn. So yeah, before we jump on into looking at all this fun squishy goodness, there are a couple places you can find me on the internet. The first being on Instagram at birch.and.lily, and you can also find me on Ravelry and Love Crafts with my knitting patterns. So yeah, let's jump on into the yarn. Okay, shall we look at some yarn? I thought I would start, I have a couple skeins that I caked up for a certain project. They didn't end up working, and so I put them back on the shelf caked up. And so I thought I would go through those first because those are in the front, and then we'll get into the rest of the skeins. But yeah, so what is this one here? This is, I know all three of these that I have right now are Hue Logo. This is their merino sock in Serenade Me. This one, what are you called? Open Skies. Same base. And finally, this one, oops, is called Saltwater. So I think these ones I had skeined up for a shawl that I just ended up not really enjoying knitting. And so they're ready to go for something else eventually, and I will keep them. I think for the sake of keeping my voice, if anything, I will only mention if I'm going to destash something. If I don't say that, it's probably likely staying. We'll go with that. Here, I believe this is a, I'm blanking on the name, but it will say on the tag. Fiber Story. This was a surprise skein, so it doesn't have a colorway name. It was like a one-of-a-kind skein. Very pretty. This I know for sure is Fiber for the People, As Seen from Space. I wound this up, I think, for a pair of socks for my dad, and then I ended up knitting him a worsted weight pair instead. But pretty. And you are, what are you? Mulberry Fiber Co., Berry Cashmere. This is the colorway Secret Family Recipe. Now this is funny looking. Can you tell this was sitting in my bag for quite some time? This is a Christmas sock set that I had wound up this past Christmas and then didn't end up using, so I will knit it this Christmas. This is from Explore Knits and Fibers, and it is called Under the Mistletoe and Cabernet. Super pretty. Again, I don't know if you remember, if you've been watching the podcast for a little while, I was knitting the Craftspedia socks by Andrea Mowry, and I didn't end up liking them, so I unwound them. And this is that yarn. This is from Hey Sister Fiber Co. They are no longer dyeing, but this is called Tea and Cake. Autumn and Indigo. This is the colorway Aubergine. Really deep purple. I think again I had this wound up for a shawl. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. This here is, I think, Mulberry Fiber Co. Yes. This is on a retired base called Simple Sock in the color Sock Talk. Finally, this is one where I haven't even pulled out the thing I was attempting to knit with it. This, I believe, is another Fiber Story one of a kind. Yes. So right off the bat, I knew I had more Mulberry Fabrico kicking around. This here is Piper on their 75-25 base. I believe this is a micro striping yarn. And I forgot I had it, and I love it a lot. This came in a set. And I'm trying to remember if I have all of them still. I'm going to set this aside. I think I do. And it makes a fade. And I think I'm going to pass it on. All of these are from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I believe they came without a tag. I don't know why. But these were for the What the Fade pattern by Andrea Mowry. And I ended up coming up with a set of colors that I liked a lot better. But I just really don't like knitting with singles. It's not my favorite. We'll see what the fade looks like when I put it all together, and I'll decide then. But I think I might pass these on. We'll see. This here I'm going to let go. This is from Old Rusted Chair in Pastel Soiree. Just not really my color scheme. So this is going to be in the Destash. This is an 80-20. Yep. This here is from Life in the Long Grass. You know what? I'm going to zoom this out a little bit. There, that's better. Life in the Long Grass in the colorway Tin Shed. This is, what base is this? Fine Sock, 75-25. So here's a couple more from that fade from Farmer's Daughter. I'm assuming this one goes, oh, I don't know, to figure out the order they go in. But the more I'm seeing it, the more I'm kind of wanting to make something out of it. Depending on how much I have yardage-wise, which I don't even know what these are yardage-wise. I'd have to figure it out myself. But I might be able to make something like a sweater or something out of this. Or another, not What the Fade. What's the other one by Andrea Mowry? The other fade. That was the very first shawl I knit, and I kind of want to knit another one now that my knitting skills are better. We'll see. This is pretty. This is from Liquid Candy in Tropical Punch. 80-20 base. I'm sure you'll learn through this video that 80-20s are my favorite. This here is a Homespun House. This was a club colorway, it seems. January 2018, Your Love Will Be Safe With Me. Very pretty. This I'm going to pass on. This was a Hedgehog Fibers, whoops, and a hair club colorway. I am just not a fan of their sock base. I find it splits a little too much for my liking, just with the way I knit. This is called Bubble, so I'm going to pass this one on. Knox yarn in Cheering Charm. This is really cute. This is Lolo Did It Vertigo. I do like this color. It's really different than what I have. This is Traveling Yarn Whisper. What base is this? 100% Superwash Merino. Yeah, this would look really pretty in a shawl. And Maker's Haven on a Selena base. Skein inspired by, oh, it's inspired by a lyric from a song. This is called The Chirp of Crickets. I'm gonna keep this just because mostly they're not dying anymore. This one is beautiful from Fawn and the Fox. This is called Bunny Hill, another 80-20. I need to get me some neon dyes. Again, I need some neon dye. Look at that yellow. Long Dog yarn in Electric Parakeet. This is Yarn Ink. I believe this was, yeah, a club colorway. She had a Disney club. This one's called Spirit. I believe it was based off of Pocahontas. And I'm keeping this, even though I'm not the hugest fan of, again, another hair, but also not the hugest fan of sock blanks, but this is literally the only stranded dye works I have. This is in the colorway Plateau. Someone gifted this to me, and I just, oh, stranded dye works is so expensive when you have to ship it from so far away. So I definitely want to keep this, and I definitely should knit it up into something. You know what I could even do is unwind it, turn it into a hank, wash it to get the kinks out, and then knit it up. Because that's mostly what I don't like about sock blanks is the kinks, but I can't pass on this one. Explorer Knits and Fibers in Uncompagra Engagement. I pronounced that word wrong, but so pretty. And this is another homespun house. Whoops, I thought I flipped it the right way. In Christmas at Hogwarts 2018. So many of these I just want to unskein and look at all the pretty colors. Like, look at that green in there. This is from a Gilmore Girls club that ran, and each dyer had a different season. So a homespun house had fall, and this is what they came up with. Look, more neon. This here is some more less traveled yarn. Girl Next Door. I've had this. This is some of the first hand dyed yarn I purchased. And oh, it's got alpaca in it. Okay, I can't get rid of that. I love alpaca. Actually, I can feel it. That's so soft. What are you? True North Creative, Evergreen Forest. This is 100% superwash merino. I'm gonna let this one go. I think I have a lot of other skeins that are similar to this. Looks like it needs to be rewound though, before I do that. Junk yarn in Rose Tico. This is Volin Vine Yarns in Blitzed. Oh, Blitzed Base, I Am No Bird is the colorway. This is another Sparkle Stellina base. I think you can see it better on camera. So pretty. This is some Hey Sister Yarn Co. I believe I purchased this in their sale before they closed. Oh no, wait, this was part of their Princess Bride Club. This is Queen Buttercup. Primrose Yarn Co. in Don't Fear the Reaper. I believe this is another Christmas at Hogwarts. Return to Hogwarts 2018 from a homespun house. This one I do love, even though I don't particularly love the base, the colorway. I just love this so much. This is Squash. This was another club colorway from Hedgehog Fibers. I will keep this one, I think. I'm gonna have fun cleaning this up because I'm just throwing everything on the floor, and then I want to reorganize everything by color. I used to have it that way, and then it kind of became a mess. And so I want to do that again, but that means leaving a pile on the floor. This is Yarn Ink in Eden. I may have another skein of this, like half used. If I do, I might pass this on. I have to figure out though if I do. I'm not 100% sure. This is Fiber for the People in Possibly Maybe. Very pretty. So many pretty pastel tones in here. Hello Stella Fibers in, what is this colorway? Hint of Lime. Very pretty. Cat Sandwich Fibers. I love her yarn. Most of it is micro striping, and it's so pretty. This is just called A. So bright and fun. The camera's definitely blowing it out a little bit. Yarn Ink. This is called Philosophy. This was another one of the Disney colorways. This is based off of the Lion King. Another less traveled yarn. Skinny Single. I'm gonna put this in the maybe. This one I will pass on though. This is Hedgehog Fibers Spell. Another Skinny Single. So this is 100% superwash merino, but a single ply. Less traveled yarn in Claudette. Very pretty. Again, I'm going to keep this one because I just love the colors. This is another of Hedgehog Fibers Sock Base in Down by the River. This guy goes in that fade set I was talking about, so I'm just going to put that aside and we will look at that when I find them all. This here is from Knitting It Up, another one of the Gilmore Girls Season Club. This one is called I Could Have Been a Contender. More neon. Long Dog Yarn in Dark Dimension. Look at that neon. Oh my goodness. And this I think I'm going to pass along, mostly because the base I find quite itchy. This is a heavy fingering weight sock yarn. non-superwash merino and nylon in Kaluna. I like the colors, but I find it itchy, so I'm gonna pass this on. I have another friend from that fade, so we'll set that aside for now. I do have 2 of this, and I spent such a long time hunting this down and waiting for this to go for sale, so I'm definitely keeping them both. I need to find a good project for this, like maybe a shawl or something. But it's called Julanice. I believe this is a Christmas colorway from Knox Yarn. This here is from People Who Fields. This is called, oh gosh, I can't read it. What are you called? Brown? I don't know. If you can read what that says, there you go. I love this tag though. It looks like a nutrition facts. I don't think I ever noticed that. Now this came totally unwound apparently. This is another Maker's Haven in Happy is the Day. I'll have to rewind this up, but you can see all the pretty colors. So gorgeous. 2 of this skein here from Expression Fiber Arts. This was a gift as well. Why did neither of them say a colorway? I do not know. I believe this is a DK weight. I've been keeping these kicking around because I don't have enough DK weight rather in my stash, and it's always nice to have some, but I love these earthy mossy greens. Let's see, what are you? Woolberry Fiber Co., Graham's Garden. I am going to set aside every Woolberry Fiber Co. I find in here and put them in with the rest of my Woolberry stash because they all need a special space. If you are new here, if this is your first time watching, first of all, thank you for joining, but I have an obsession with Woolberry Fiber Co. and I have a large collection of it, and they all stay together in my stash, and somehow some of them got mixed into this stuff and they need to go back. This is a homespun house in October 2018, Enchantment. Beautiful. Hello Stella Fibers, Candy Clouds. So pretty. This is another Hello Stella in Coral Reef. This is one of her very first colorways. I really should knit this up. It's so pretty. I have to say I do love doing this Destash series because I'm seeing everything that I haven't seen in a while and I'm touching it all, and now I want to use it all, which is a good thing for me. This is Vivid Yarn Studio in the colorway Pandora. And I have another Hey Sister Yarn Co. here in Matte Lip. Very pretty. Another Hey Sister. This was from the... Why am I blanking? I was just talking about it earlier. Princess Bride. This is called As You Wish. Oh, so pretty. They're so good at doing really wearable neutral colors. I'm so sad they're not dyeing yarn anymore, but I totally understand why. This was my very first skein of wool and vine yarn, and someone so graciously gifted this to me as well, so I cannot part with it. This is called Goth Day Cake. So pretty. Long Dog Yarn in... Why can I not read some of these? That's the name. Parisian Mist, maybe? This is Yarn Ink in Jazz. This is so pretty when it's knit up. I think I've broken into one skein of this and used it for a sock, but I think I'm gonna keep this second one as well. This needs to go in the Woolberry stash. This is Pink Sand. It's a little bit more pinky than what's showing up. It's leaning a little bit more orange, but so pretty. This here is Junk Yarn in Ursula. And this is Outlander from Wool and Vine. Barnyard Knits in Wheatfield. I have been keeping this one kicking around because I know it's going to be the perfect neutral for something at some point, and I just haven't found what, but I know it will be. Knox Yarn in a word I can't pronounce. That doesn't want to focus. Very pretty, very, very pretty. Hey Sister Yarn Co. Again, this is Botanical. And this is Woolen Boon. can't remember if they're dyeing anymore. They may have changed how they dye yarn. Anyways, this is called Pop Rocks. They are so good at speckles. Another skein of Peekaboo Fields in Dahlia. Very pretty. I believe a lot of her yarn micro stripes as well. This was from, do I have the other skein? Yes. These were both from a collaborative where everyone kind of dyed up yarn in, why won't this focus? There we go. Dyed up yarn in similar colors to raise money. I believe for breast cancer, I can't fully remember, but Yarn Ink, this was their skein. These are both like exclusive to that. And this is from Dragon Horde Yarn. It's very cool to see the different ways people used the colors. Some more Hey Sister Yarn Co. As You Wish. Oh, I have two of this. You know what happened? I think one of them was a mystery skein or like a leftover or something. You can totally tell they're from different dye lots, which I'm okay with because they look totally different, so I'll keep both, but love it. I think I'll pass on this again because it is a singles. This is from Less Traveled Yarn in Sweet Tart. Some more Knox Yarn Maynard, I think. This is Honest Lena Base again. Junk Yarn in Sugar Plum Fairy. This is technically a Christmas skein, but I've kept it out of my Christmas yarn just because it's so pretty and pastel-y. I don't have much yellow yarn. Man, this tag is smushed. And I love this one so much. I just haven't found the right project for it. This is from Boss Lady Yarn Co. I'm not sure if she's dyeing anymore. This is the colorway Autumn. Some more Hey Sister. I believe this is, yes, this is also from the Princess Bride Club that I was a part of in Farm Boy. I should really find a way to use all of these Princess Bride skeins together. That would be really cool. I'm gonna pass on this one. It's been kicking around for a long time and I haven't used it. This is also from True North Creative in the colorway Sunset. Now this is a flashback. This is the old Woolberry Fiber Co. label. This is called Birthday Cake. Hey Sister Yarn Co. This was again part of that Gilmore Girls Club, the seasons one, Paris Geller Rules the World. Hello Stella Fibers in Gum on the Sidewalk. I think this one would end up micro striping as well. This here is from Haven Fiber Arts in October. My birthday month, so I don't think I can pass on it. Yarn Ink in After Dark. What movie is this? Sorry, I hope you can't hear my dog barking in the background. Is this from Toy Story, maybe? This is another, is this DK? Her tag is falling apart on it. Yes, this is DK Weight from Ken Yarn. In, what is the colorway? The Emperor. This is Lolo Did It Blood. I think I'm going to keep this just because I don't have a lot of other colorways like this in my stash. Some more Hey Sister Yarn Co. in Halcon. Woolberry Fiber Co. This is Spiced Pumpkin. Hello, Stella Fibers in Secret Garden. This has to be another micro stripe, I think. And the last from this shelf is Cat Sandwich Fiber. Does this have a name? Nope, I do not. Oh, yes it does. I lied. Featherweight. Oh, maybe that other one did have a name and I looked in the wrong spot. That's awkward. Anyways. Okay, so I do have a large stack here. I believe this is a shawl quantity, or it could be a sweater quantity, of Knit Picks Gloss Fingering in the color Velveteen. I did at one point have a shawl in mind for this. I obviously, oh dear, have not knit said shawl, but I do still love the color, and so I'm kind of keeping it around for the right project. Each of these skeins is 50 grams, 220 yards. I have a couple different yarns from Sweet Fiber here. I have 2 skeins of paper birch. I did have 4, but I pulled 2 aside for a shawl, and so I will save these other 2 for a shawl. They're such a perfect neutral color that really lends itself to going well with anything else, so I do want to keep them around for those bigger projects. And then I have 3 different colorway, or 4 other different colorways rather, if I could count, from Sweet Fiber. This here is Sea Glass. This is Ever Gray. It's like a blue-green leaning gray. Hippolyta. And this is Tea Leaves. I feel like there was another skein in here at one point, but I must have wound it up for something, obviously. This was a set of 4 one-of-a-kind skeins from Autumn and Indigo Fibers. So these are all one-of-a-kinds, and I don't believe they're available in the shop anymore, but they're very pretty. This is a Merino Sport skein from Sugar Plum Circus. This is called Heather. Beautiful yarn. These 3 beauties, I don't know what I want to knit with them yet, but I just love how they are together. Rose Merta, it's this one, Frolic, and Sweet Cheeks, all from Sugar Plum Circus. So pretty. And then these 2 I have pulled to go together as well. Dewdrop and Sea Glass, also from Sugar Plum Circus. I was lucky enough to work with Jensen at one point on a couple projects, and she paid me in yarn. So that's kind of where all these came from. And finally, I have 2 skeins of Berry Woolen. This has to be a DK weight, hey? This is Rhubarb Pie. So as promised, I pulled out that fade from Farmer's Daughter Fibers that had no tags. And now I'm looking at it again, and I love it. So I'm going to keep this. I'm not sure what project I'm going to use it for. I'm going to find something though, for sure. I'm going to leave this set out on my desk actually and make myself find something to knit with this because I love it so much. It's so pretty. I wish I had the colorway names for this, but like I said, they didn't come with names when I got the kit. It was just, maybe they were dyed up just as a fade for the project itself, but I love them very much. And I did want to mention really quick that I am going to pass along this skein of Less Traveled Yarn in Claudette. So that'll go in the destash as well. And let me grab everything I am destashing to give you one final peek. So this is all of the fingering weight yarn that I've decided to pass along. I'm not surprised there isn't more, mostly because I think I did a destash on this yarn last year. So the fact that I have this many skeins is pretty impressive to me. So I can't remember if I mentioned in the intro or not because I filmed that a couple days ago. But I will reiterate once again, sorry about my dog, but all of this yarn that I am destashing will be going up in probably a couple weeks. I will have the destash. I will make sure that you are informed where it's going to be, when it's going to be, all of that, but everything that I am destashing in the series will be going up for sale. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of this beautiful yarn today. I know I did. I love, like I said, seeing it and kind of remembering what I have kicking around and being able to love it some more and find stuff to use it for. And yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. That would help me out a lot. It gets my video out there to other people. And yeah, I hope you'll join me on Tuesday for my next upload. I don't know what it's going to be. I haven't decided yet, but I hope I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye!